We're talking about TikTok. Yes, we are, but wait a minute. It'll make sense. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the United States reaching out to TikTok stars to talk about what's happening right now in Ukraine. Now, the news reporting on this is very interesting. I saw two different articles about a similar topic, but they're talking about different countries. You understand? So when they say the U.S. are talking to our TikTok stars about what's happening in Ukraine, they say, oh, well, the White House briefed TikTok stars about Ukraine. But then when it comes to Russia, oh, it's a propaganda campaign from the Kremlin. But it's really the same thing. It's propaganda from the U.S. and from Russia. The White House talking to TikTok stars about what they want them to say. That's propaganda. The same way the Kremlin talking to their TikTok stars is also propaganda. It's funny how that works. Like the news articles themselves are propaganda, proving the point. Now, before I go too deep into it, there's two videos you got to see. The first one is a result of the White House talking to TikTok stars. Then it's going to be a parody of that video. If you want to see both without my commentary, links will be in the box, but we got to watch it together right now so we can see what's going on. And I don't know who this person is. Ellie Zellier. I'll put her name in the box if you guys want to find her. So here's the first one. And shout out to Libs of TikTok yet again for getting us the good videos. And the caption here says, the White House told the TikTok influencers who were invited on the Zoom call to blame the high gas prices on Vladimir Putin. Of course, is what they do, right? But let's get into it.
Why is gas so expensive, and why is the United States inflation rate at a 4-time decade high? I had the opportunity to ask the White House why gas down the street is $7, and here's what they said. The obvious reason: we are getting out of a 2-year pandemic. When use goes up, price goes up.
It's not necessarily how that works. I mean, the price will go up if you have a low supply with a high demand. Okay, you can have price increases because of people using it more, but that's not really what's going on. We have a limited supply because we're not producing enough. We're at a low point in production because of the government's policies. All right, that's really what's happening right now.
But the call was predominantly about Ukraine and Russia, so how does that relate? Russia is one of the top 3 producers of oil, and it is actually their #1 revenue source. Now, with Putin starting this horrific fight between Ukraine and Russia, nobody wants to work with him and do an international trade.
That's not true. That's not true. The U.S. doesn't want to work with Russia after they got pushed into not wanting to work with them, because right when the quote-unquote war first started, we were still getting 10% of our oil and gas from Russia rather than producing more here and not being reliant upon them, right? And when we cut that off, that's going to raise the prices because we have a lower supply. Again, high demand, low supply, high prices. Now, Europe, on the other hand, they are condemning what Russia's doing with Ukraine. They don't like it, but they depend on Russia for 35% of their natural gas. They're not stopping that relationship. 35% is a little bit too much. We had 10%, and that really was too much to lose, but 35%, they can't do it. So that was a false statement that she made right there.
So with people being scared of war and limited resources, prices are bound to go up as well. For the people who can't pay $7 for a gallon of gas, there's an app called Gas Buddy that shows you the cheapest gas near you.
Gas Buddy, is that going to help me for real? It's like, all right, so check it out. I'm at Buc-ee's or Wawa or wherever. I'm at the Food Line gas station, and I'm counting change at the counter. I got pennies and quarters and nickels and dimes trying to get 5 on pump 4. How is Gas Buddy going to help me? What, so I can save 5 cents by driving another 15 miles outside of my way? Tell me how that makes sense, lady.
As well as a link in my bio to donate to the misplaced refugees of Ukraine.
First of all, very aggressive kiss. I was like, take that. But beyond that, I'm not giving anything to Ukraine. Okay, if you're over there in Ukraine, I feel for you. I feel for innocent civilian that's over there. But we just gave them, like $13 billion with a B, $13 to $14 billion from our taxpayer money to Ukraine. So, I mean, why you need some more? You already took my tax money and gave it to Ukraine. Meanwhile, we can't get $4 billion for a border wall to protect our own country. We're going to give them $14 billion to protect their country. Make that make sense. But yeah, this was a result of the White House's Zoom call for awareness and to brief them. It's not propaganda. It's only propaganda when the Russian Federation Kremlin does it. All right. Now, here is a parody of what you just saw from Chrissy Clark. Shout out to her. Again, links will be in the box for these videos in full without my commentary, but let's check it out.
Why is gas so expensive? And why is the United States inflation rate at a 4-time decade high? I had the opportunity to be propagandized by the White House and asked them why gas down the street. I didn't even
hear that part in the beginning. I think the other person said 4-time decade high. What does that mean? 4-time decade? Like, make that make sense. Let's kind of rewind a little bit so we can get back on track here.
4-time decade high. I had the opportunity to be propagandized by the White House and asked them why gas down the street is $7. And here's what they should have said. The obvious reason: the Biden administration has implemented policies that curb oil production in the U.S.
Yep.
So when Biden's regulation goes up, oil production goes down. But since we're doing this game where we blame Putin and Russia, I asked, how does that relate? Since Russia is one of the top oil producers and the U.S. doesn't want to be energy independent, we have to import oil from Russia. Now, since Putin has started this war between Ukraine and...
I didn't even notice the hair changes. That's something I got pointed out a little bit later. It was all the hair changes. It's like, why you can't just talk normally? Why you got to keep pushing your hair in different directions? That's what the other person did. And this person, I guess, is obviously parodying it. Let's back up a little bit to get back on track here.
Doesn't want to be energy independent. We have to import oil from Russia. Now, since Putin has started this war between Ukraine and Russia, people who aren't morons realize we shouldn't be relying on foreign dictators. So, with people being scared of war and limited resources, prices are going up because we rely on foreign dictators instead of ourselves.
Yeah.
For people who can't pay $7 for a gallon of gas, there's an app called Stop Being Fucking Poor and Buy a Tesla, as well as a link in my bio to donate to TikTokers who are in desperate need of a quality education.
Oh, that was golden. Shout out to, again, Chrissy Clark for the parody of the other young lady. I think her name is Ellie Zellier. Again, I'll place all this in the box, but that was 100% brilliant. Shout out to them. Shout out to the parody. The TikTok stuff is crazy. It's a bunch of false information. And I got to kind of go back to what I was saying earlier about the whole propaganda piece, where the news out here will push propaganda by saying that we're not pushing propaganda from the White House. Oh, they're just being briefed on what's going on in Ukraine. They're giving the real news and the science and stuff like that. Like the some of the biggest ridiculous propaganda like campaigns have been about the scamdemic, talking about trust the science and slow to spread, flatten the curve, a bunch of just ridiculous things that aren't true. Masks work, this works, that work, things that don't work, make you feel good, keep you in a calm and non-panic state. That's propaganda. Okay. Same thing with the whole Ukraine situation. Everything's Putin. I think they're just cashing in on all of the years of anti-Russian propaganda, from the Red Scare to the whole thing with Trump and colluding with the Russians, allegedly, although that was proven to be false. You're cashing in on it. So anytime anything happens, hey, blame Vladimir Putin. The gas is going through the roof. It's $4 here in Tennessee. It's $8 in California. But the reason for the price is because of Vladimir Putin. Make that make sense. Why is it double in California? For what reason? Is it like, does Vladimir Putin control the price of gas state by state? Or is it something that we're doing in the U.S. that makes it high? Like, again, lack of oil production, very high taxes. Maybe that's what's going on. You're trying to subsidize a bunch of drug addicts and people that don't want to work, people that just want to loaf around all day. Could that be the reason why some of the gas prices are high? Oh no, that's not. Let's not worry about that. Let's not talk about the reality of what's happening. Let's just blame Vladimir Putin. That'll just make everything go away. All right. The propaganda out of the United States is ridiculous. This is part of the reason why I even exist. I'm here to break up all the propaganda. I'm here to just give the honest truth about what's happening, right? People like those TikTokers are just being told, okay, here's your talking points. Talk about that, and that. Make sure you blame Vladimir Putin now. Make sure he started the war and all this and that. Just talk about that rather than what's really going on. But when they get told specific instructions from the White House, from the federales, that's not propaganda. That's not state sponsored or state directed media. It's just good old Americans doing the right thing and giving their audience on TikTok real news rather than quote unquote fake news. Ridiculous, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about these TikToks? I'm not a TikTok guy myself, but I know they have a very young audience. For a little bit of perspective, the average age of a Facebook user is 40. The average age of a TikToker, I wasn't able to find the specific one age, but I think the main demo is between 16 and 24. So very young people on there, kids that probably don't know anything about anything quite yet. And they're being brainwashed by these TikTokers who have been brainwashed or quote unquote briefed by the White House about what's going on. And it's crazy because I'm watching television and they talk about Russia, how they don't have media. They don't understand what's going on. Well, do we have media? Do we understand what's going on? I don't know. Mainstream media, I can't tell. I watch mainstream media and I'm seeing fake things all day, every day. This is part of the reason, again, why I exist, why alternative media in general, that's why we all exist, to give out real information rather than this spin that we get over here on our mainstream media. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.